You are listening to the Better Two podcast with M.Needom. Hi gang, Donna here. Thanks for tuning into the Better Two podcast. Today's guest is CerVon Campbell. He talks to us about his new album that just dropped, It Be Like That Sometimes. We also discuss a video that he did, as well as his collaborations and, well, social media and all sorts of other topics. So enjoy. Hi, CerVon. How you doing today?
I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm good. Welcome back to the show. It's it wasn't too long ago you were on the show, and I had a lot of positive feedback from people. They really enjoyed.
That's good. I'm glad to be back.
So you did something big just recently. What happened? You released a new record?
I released an album.
Uh-huh. And how's it been received so far?
It's been good. It's been good. I'm proud of it from the fact that it's doing good on my own merit. Like I didn't have really a whole lot of support other than just, like the people within my grasp. So, I'm proud that I've done as well as I have.
And you should be. And it's a very diverse record. I listened to it this afternoon, and it's definitely, it's got its moments where it's hard hitting, but then there's a lot of deep, soulful meaning lyrics,
Yeah, I really wanted to have something for like a little bit of everything. It's a song on their Risk. I didn't want to put it on there so bad, but I just got pushed into it, and I just wanted to have a little everyman album, everyman song.
Well, Risk is kind of intense. It is kind of intense.
Yeah.
To say it lightly. I did have to laugh, and I had to go back and listen because you mentioned Leo on Charmed, and I'm like, of course I know Charmed has been redone, but I remember Charmed from the original batch, so it was just kind of like I caught that. I was like, so do you like Charmed?
I have seen every episode of Charmed.
The original or the new one?
I haven't seen the new one. Only the original. And I really tried to I want people to know the shows that I know. So I try to incorporate all of the shows that I know into my music. Because still growing up, within the first 30 seconds, I referenced Scrubs, Friends, and New Girl, all within the same line. I really tried to push it off.
Though there's a certain nostalgic feel about that, though. I mean, you can connect with people when you bring those things in.
That's the goal. I really feel I like when people reference stuff and I can think back to something, and I have already wrote the next 17 singles. Like they're already
wow.
I'm about to go start recording. I've already got all of it out the way, and I'm trying to push on that a lot more, like references that people might have forgot. I don't know, I just have so many jokes now. It's really just a bunch of jokes that I'm trying to make into songs. So there was reference it all.
There was that whole alter ego thing with M.Needom. He had the whole hard hitting stuff, and then he had his little caricature thing that was the whole takeoff, which I can't even remember the name.
I feel like I'll still, it's a lot of the heart still there. I'm still trying to connect and everything, but I'm also trying to I say corny stuff, any kind of laugh I can get, I'm going for it. I can't think of nothing off the top of my head, but I have so many jokes within the songs. I'm excited to start recording.
I get it. And I mean, I write, my books are set in the 80s and 90s. And so I go back and I had a conversation with my editor because I specifically wanted the character to have a Volkswagen Cabriolet and convertible. And she's like, and I specifically put convertible because some people would not understand. And she's like, well, couldn't you just put a Volkswagen Volkswagen convertible? I'm like, no, because firstly, there's 5 different types of Volkswagen convertibles. Secondly, somebody who had that car would be like, gosh, that car was sweet. I miss that car. And I mean, sometimes when you put those little bits of nostalgia in something, it makes it that much more real and fun.
Yeah, it really what I like about my music, I feel like, is I try to take you somewhere, and I feel like when you get those references, you go back to like memories and stuff. I listened to a song yesterday, the day before yesterday, and I tried to do the same little joke where somebody referenced when what was it, when KFC and Taco Bell, when they used to have like collab restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like that made me think like, oh my goodness, I was like at my fattest when they had things like that.
Think about that though. I mean, I understand PepsiCo owns them. That's why they were combined. But when you just think those things don't fit together.
It's like, why?
Well, I was somewhere and this is going either 80s or 90s, and McDonald's was selling pizza at one of their restaurants, one of their test markets. It's like, what? This isn't.
They sell wings.
What, at your McDonald's?
McDonald's sold wings for like my whole senior year year of high school.
I think I vaguely remember that. Vaguely might remember that, but yeah, it's weird when they start bringing stuff in that's
go out of their box.
Yeah. But I mean, now I guess that's what you have to do, to try to get more customers.
I'm the opposite. I tell, like, I'm pro, like, hey, yo, stay in your lane. When you start to drift a little bit, it's like, hey, okay, I see you're trying, but relax. It's not for you.
Yeah. Well, there was a place called Jack in the Box. I don't know. Do you have Jack in the Box over there?
I go to Jack in the Box just about every day. I love Jack in the Box.
See, Jack in the Box we don't have up here. And we didn't have it in New Orleans. We had it in Texas. Jack in the Box, yeah, they have all sorts of weird stuff.
You know what? I knew you was going with it. They're the only place allowed to do that. They're the only place. That's the only place where you can get a taco and an egg roll, and they're both good. Like, that's the only place I will allow it. That's the only place. I get a milkshake and egg rolls every time, and I might even get, if I'm feeling like, a little risky, I might get like a churro or something too.
That sounds like an interesting combination of egg rolls and milkshakes. It just doesn't.
Jack in the Box is America. You have everything lined across the board.
I know. I get it. So
that's the only place I'll allow it.
So the next record, if you're going to do it more, you're trying to put a little bit more humor in there. Are you going to run with are you going to stick with CerVon Campbell, or are you going to go with Sex Monkey Limo Driver? Had to. It's your Instagram tag, come on.
That name has followed me so well.
I know.
Anytime somebody will actually like, this happens, this is the closest I'll get to somebody thinking I'm famous, is I'll be somewhere and somebody say, hey, are you Sex Monkey Limo Driver? And you know what? Even if they say, are you CerVon Campbell? Every time I say no. But especially if I hear, are you Sex Monkey Limo Driver? Or like somebody from school, are you Sex Monkey Limo Driver? No. We just look alike. No. I say every time, they're like, no, you look just like me. You're him. Like, that's racist. That's racist.
Though, I've been places and I've had people walk up to me accusing me of being somebody else. And it's like, no. Sometimes it's famous. Sometimes it's just a woman that somebody had an argument with 10 years before.
I just run with it now. Like, a lot of times, the famous people I get confused for are always people who make me kind of mad. Like, I feel like it's a little insultish, but for the majority of the time, like, I know, like, when I was in high school, people always used to get me confused with this dude named Anthony. I don't see the resemblance at all, but it has been so many times where I'm like somewhere at Walmart or somewhere like back at my hometown, and if they say, hey, Anthony, what you been up to? I'm gonna just talk, like, no, nothing, I'm gonna just keep it going. I'm not gonna ruin it. I'm not gonna make it awkward for either one of us. I'm gonna just run with it and then keep it going.
Well, it's always good when you see somebody that's posted a picture of me with such and such, and it's not the celebrity. I've seen that a couple of times on Instagram. I'm like, wow, how did you even think this person was that person?
Yeah, it's a guy now. They call him Fake Drake, and he's making like $5,000 to do appearances places pretending to be Drake, and more power to him. More like.
Well, Duran Duran just released a video for their song Anniversary, and they had nothing but fakes in there. They even had fakes of them, their younger selves, in the video.
I have to see it. I've been listening to Hungry Like the Wolf, like for some reason. I don't know why.
Well, they are celebrating their 40th anniversary.
Hold on, did I sound stupid? That's them, right? That's them, right?
Yeah, that is right.
Okay, I had to make sure.
That's why they corrected.
I had to make sure.
Trust me. I would have said, "Nah, you're way off." No, that's Duran Duran. Yes, that is.
Yeah, I have listened to that song so much lately. I've been like, that's my whole playlist right now. Just like 70s, 80s, right in there. That's all that I've been listening to.
But there's a lot of good grooves in there.
Yeah, my favorite song right now is this song, "Renegade" by Styx.
Okay.
That and this song "What's Going On." I forget who it's by, but I wake up in the morning and I step out. Those two are like, that's my on repeat song.
Four Non-Blondes.
That's it. That's it.
Four Non-Blondes.
That's my ringtone right now, actually.
Wow. You are stepping back. Although it is the late 80s, early 90s, somewhere in there. So it's not too far back.
That one I figured it was about 90-ish, but the first one, Styx, that was 70s, I think.
Oh yeah, 70s, early
80s. 70s, 80s.
And you know what's funny about it is, I'm putting my phone on. Anyway, but the thing about it is, you know, when you look at music, and that's what I was going to say to you, it's like you listen to a song and it hits an emotion for you. So when people are listening to your music, there's eventually that person that's going to connect with you going, yeah, okay, I remember listening to that song when this was going on in my life. You realize that?
I try to hit for it. Like, I feel like I made good, like, night driving music. And that's what I really tried to push on with this. And some of the songs I tried to break away from it as well. But I like to know that I can do that, have that kind of impression on somebody.
Yeah, Merchant did that too. He was focusing on some night driving music as well. And when you drive at night, yes, you need a certain soundtrack.
I feel like my ideal version of like my song being played, I never imagined somebody like actually listening to it or actually like singing along to it. I feel like you're driving, you're playing it, and then you're talking to somebody. It's just like background noise to a conversation. That's how I imagine like my song "Broken People." That's the entire idea behind it. Like, you're not supposed to listen to the words. It's just supposed to be on while you're talking, driving, and you drift off into thought or whatever, which sounds like stupid, but I just think like that's how I hear it. It sounds like a really good song just to come on and, you know, elevator noise.
Well, it's not stupid. I mean, that's how you feel that each artist has an interpretation of how their music should be presented and how they feel it will be heard. And if that's how you feel it should be truly listened to, then that's your prerogative.
Yeah, I'm like with new stuff, my plan is to like, I'm still planning on doing what I did with this, where I'm mixing and switching up all the different genres and stuff. But I do want to have a more playful, like a lighter tone to it, because like I think I told you last time, like I did a show and a girl was crying. I don't want to always have that as my vibe, where like a lot of people put on somebody like Juice WRLD and be like, I'm gonna go cry to some Juice WRLD. And then I make songs like my song War, and it's like, I'm gonna go cry to some CerVon Campbell. I'm gonna go kill myself to CerVon Campbell. I'm trying to really get away from that and kind of, you know, it's enough drama, sadness in the world. I want to kind of stir away from it more.
Well, and also think about this way. I think you're at I don't know you personally that well, but I think you've also grown as a person. You've gone through a lot of hard times and you're coming out on the other side of that. So you're able to tap into maybe a more positive influence than being stuck where you were.
And I agree. I noticed in my writing and like in my regular thinking, I don't have the same mindset that I had just like a month ago, where I was always thinking about these two things, like, well, three things all the time. These are my every thoughts. And now it's like, I'm kind of like, maybe it's just me being bipolar. I'm just not there right now. Like I'm feeling positive. I'm liking what I'm doing. I'm kind of pushing myself to get out of my box, my comfort zone and stuff. So I agree. I think, yeah, I don't pay it attention all the time, but like, you know, I have it on the song. I literally made the song about it. I'm still growing up. I'm trying to get there. I'm trying to learn how to adult.
Hey, you know, I'm in my 50s and I'm still learning and growing, and you know, you never stop. I mean, when you stop, then you die. That's the I would say that that old adage is very true, because once you stop, then you know, you're not, even if you don't physically die, you kind of die because you're not evolving. If you
I
decide
want to
not
get there
to,
someday. I
huh?
want to get to a point where I stop evolving someday. I want to be an old bitter man who just kind of sits on my porch and judge everybody around me. I want to be filled with rage and hatred, where it's just like, ah, that damn boy on my street again. I don't like that car. I always visualize myself as that man.
Get off my
Like,
lawn.
yeah, like my wife screaming at me to take my heart medication. Don't raise my blood pressure too much. I'm always one heart attack away. That's how I see my future. I'm
You
gonna be
know,
such a bitter man.
you know that doesn't that doesn't sound like the most optimistic future there.
Oh, I'm thrilled about it. Like my son's gonna be like, hey, prom's coming up. I want to go. Don't go to prom. You'll regret it the rest of your life. Like I'm gonna be that guy. Have you ever seen F is for Family on Netflix?
No.
You have to watch it. The dad on there has become my role model, where he's just screaming all the time and he's always angry. I laugh too much to be there, but one day I'm gonna reach a level of anger where I can just scream all day.
But you know, anger's overrated. There is a song called Anger is an Energy. I mean, that's not actually the song's name, but that is the whole verse of it. And you know, while it's good to be angry sometimes, anger really is just toxic. As I sit here and smile as I'm talking about this. And I know you're sometimes BSing me, and that's fine.
Toxicity is in style right now.
Oh, we know.
The dad's catchphrase on the show is, I will put you through a wall. I want to say that to my kids. I want to say that to people. I will put you through a wall. And like I can't take myself seriously mad, because when I can't scream. I like whisper scream because I'm always scared like somebody's listening. So instead of being like, ah, like I'm like, yes, like, you know, like I don't take myself seriously. So like I'm gonna get to a level I'm just an old angry man wearing a wife beater all the time.
Why do I see
That's
Samuel L. Jackson in that movie?
Yeah.
I can't think what movie it is, but you know what I'm talking about. The gray sideburns.
Black Snake Moan or something.
Yes. With the great sideburns and just wide-eyed.
That's gonna be me. That's gonna
great.
Be me. I'm not gonna like have nobody chained up or anything, but
hopefully not. Hopefully not. You know, I mean,
you never know.
Times change. You know,
yeah.
you may have a bulldog chained up. You never know.
You know what? You fall in love, and the one that got away just won't get away no more.
Oh, that's harsh, and that could be some serious blowback on that statement. You know, you might want to reel that one back in before somebody comes after you saying, "What are you talking about?"
Okay, I'm too nice of a person to do that. I'm not that guy.
I just don't want cancel culture to come over and say, "CerVon, you're done."
You know, I would love to get to a level where I could deal with cancel culture, because I feel like I would not give in. I would go full gas, no brakes as soon as I get in trouble for something.
Well, the funny thing about the cancel culture thing is Louis C.K., who else was it? Got nominated. Dave Chappelle. Both got nominated for Grammys.
Both of them are like my favorite comedians. Louis C.K., like when I do stand-up, I do a lot of him and Anthony Jeselnik kind of jokes where, you know, the dark, shocking jokes and stuff like that, you know, I like them. They're fun. Louis C.K., I was weirded out. It's more like you know, you do your thing, I guess, if that's what you're into. But I'm glad he's bounced back.
But it's the same thing with, you know, I had this conversation not too long ago, I think, with the guy who's an animator, Trent. We were talking about Bill Cosby. And the fact is, yeah, Bill Cosby has done some awful, awful things. But I grew up watching Bill Cosby. I did. I grew up watching Fat Albert. I grew up watching The Cosby Show. And they were still funny. I mean, he was the Jell-O pudding pop guy. You know, I mean, and I understand that he is an awful person. I understand that. But does that take away from his humor?
I have okay, so and I'm really weird in that. And I always think about cancel culture is just somebody on the internet.
Oh
But
yeah.
Bill Cosby, my thing with him is a book I read before that whole thing happened. It's nobody know who Superman is. Nobody know his secret identity, who he really is as a person. So we found out, and Dave Chappelle even has a joke similar to it. If we found out that Superman was an abusive husband, would our minds change of him after he done saved the world so many times? When I was a little kid, one of the first, we used to have this thing, it's like A&R reading or something like that, where you get a book at the library and it's always like an online quiz for it. I will always get Bill Cosby books. Since I was in kindergarten, I have always idolized this man. Like I've looked up to him all the way up until like in high school. And then it was him and this guy, Donald Glover. I idolized them. They're the only two men where I felt like I can be proudly straight, but a little bit of gay for them because I would have them as my lock screen. Like I was in love with those two. And then when all that happened with Bill Cosby, I brushed it off. I didn't want to feed into it because this is my Superman, and I don't want nobody to taint the painting of him that I have in my mind of him. So it's a limit to how much I can really defend him. But at the end of the day, he did wrong. Everybody do wrong, and his wrong is way wronger than any of my wrongs. But I still grew up loving this guy, and I can't take none of that back. I'm really appreciative of all his contributions to the community, to all his art that he has given entertainment. So, like it's a weird middle. And that's why I just try to, ignore it.
Well,
it sounds bad, but you have to.
No, I didn't mean to bring anything bad up. I mean, it's just the fact that, cancel culture is so just, like you said, I do believe it's one person on the keyboard. There was a TV show called GCB, which stood for Good Christian Bitches. And it was, yeah, it was a book originally, and it was really an over the top dramedy, a comedy, comedy drama.
Uh-huh.
And it was about these Christian women in Texas who were the biggest hypocrites in the world. It was funnier than anything. It was 1,000 moms that decided that the show was wrong and it needed to be taken off. So it got canceled.
And that's so bad to because it's so easy to just not watch something.
Right. Like if you don't like something, turn a channel.
If you don't, people know what they're getting into with Dave Chappelle at this point. Dave Chappelle's last few specials were offensive. I'm not even gonna say they were offensive. They had jokes attacking everybody. So if you don't like the new one, if you don't like the old ones, don't watch the new ones. Don't ruin the party for everybody. And I don't know. I think it's people just love to tear people down. Mm-hmm. They want to be the one that says, I did this. Like Hannibal Buress was not that big of a comedian, but now he's known as the comedian that brought down Bill Cosby. He started all of that. And it's like, is that really an accomplishment though? Like, did you really win anything? Like, you're just something Googleable now, And people want to take down everybody. Everything people do gets them in trouble now. Just your preference is wrong. You can't dislike people, you can't dislike somebody because of their gender or anything without being some kind of phobic. I think the world is just so sensitive for the public. It's weird.
Well, here's something as simple, and it seems ridiculous, but I somebody decided to school me yesterday because I'm selling some stuff on Facebook that I have Christmas Village pieces from 2004 and whatever. It's in the original box. There was still the original price on there. Did I raise the price slightly? Because, well, firstly, it was $3 and something. I raised it to $5 because there's gas involved in me bringing it to somebody if I meet them or whatever. Mm-hmm. Plus, it's also from 2004 and it's in pristine shape. It's never been used. Inflation. Maybe I'm wrong for that. But anyway, somebody actually sends me an email going, you should hide the price if you're going to ask that. Okay. Did I ask for your opinion? You're not interested in, so what's the point of you coming to
Like, do you
school
feel
me?
good about that? Like that comment, like when you say that, do you feel good?
Yeah.
Like it's people are so weird.
And then she put like a face palm emoji, and I'm just like, it took. Did this get you off or something that you had to come do this? I mean, there's no point to it. But I got into a conversation with somebody about this, with a writer about this, how people think that they're emboldened because we have the keyboard now. I can say anything I want to you, even if I don't like your song, never listen to your music. I just don't like your record cover. I hate it. Therefore, I'm going to give you a 1-star rating on Apple. Really?
Yeah, and I get that a lot of times where it's just like I do a lot of ads or I'll post and stuff like that, and just because I got the ad or I'm doing something, people nitpick just because they're not doing it. So I get a lot of flack about stuff that I do from people who aren't doing anything, and I just think it's really weird that people, what's the word, that they project their energy.
Mm-hmm. Well, I have to ask this, and I mean, because we've talked about John Oates on the last podcast, but I have to ask this. I mean, have you talked to him about the deal with the internet? I mean, because his whole career, most of his career didn't have the internet factor. So I mean, he had to have some advice for you about dealing with
Yeah,
this.
he said that he wouldn't. He said something along the lines of he wouldn't be where he's at if the internet was around in the 80s, because they were doing all this wild stuff. And if somebody had a phone and posted it, then it would have, it would have been a whole thing. And if people were as sensitive, it would have been something all the time. So when we did talk about internet, it was just, he said it's just people that, it's a some people that will like it, some people won't. Because when I was talking to him, I was like, I know your demographic and who your fans are. Do you think they're gonna be okay with you working with a sex monkey limo driver? Because I can't change it, and I can't. I don't know what else to do. And he was like, "It's just a username. If you can change it, you can change it. If you can't, it's whatever. It's not that deep." So I think he has a grasp where it's just like he knows it does not matter. When
I mean,
you're rich enough like that, it does not matter.
when I look back at the 80s and even the 90s, I got to hang out with rock stars. I got to go to the hotel. I got to meet people, and I would never do any of that now. You couldn't do any of that, the stuff we did then. And it's not that anything went down or anything was bad. It was all very innocent, but you couldn't do it now. You don't have the luxury of being able to do what you did back then because of the internet, because you never know what somebody's going to be videotaping.
And I feel like I'm stupid enough to fall into that trap at some point, because I will just say it because I feel like other people will say it or they won't say it. And I just feel like, why limit yourself? That's what, like, I will support, I'm not gonna say I support, I will ride for somebody just on premise or the idea that they are genuinely being themselves. So like people hate Jake Paul. They hate both of them. They hate Jake Paul. They're like, he's this frat boy. He's doing all this different stuff. He's doing stuff he has no business doing, like boxing and all this. Just be an internet guy. And they always say he's appropriating cultures and all this stuff. Well, if you know frat boys, and I went to college with a lot of them, Jake Paul, I feel like, is really being himself. So it's like people are mad that he's being himself and able to do all these different avenues, but it's like that's just what he wants to do. So it's like, why hate on people for that? Why limit yourself and get mad at other people because they're not? So my Kay, my girlfriend, wife, everything, she at this point she knows it's me and she doesn't care, but she's Asian, so I make so many yellow jokes about her all the time. I had a yellow shirt on the other day and she put her face on it. I was like, hey, where'd you go? And it's not like, I love her and her family to death. I don't mean nothing like, like I want you to cry because I made this statement. It's just, like, I'm Black and you're Asian. It's whatever. Like, this is just our skin tone. Why make it a thing? People are just so weird to me.
They are. And I mean, talking about staying out of getting out of a box. Look at Bo Jackson back in the day.
Yeah.
Bo Jackson, I mean, you know, he was known for one thing and then he switched to another thing, and everybody was cheering him on. But then when Michael Jordan did it, it was like, no, dude, get in your own lane. You're not supposed to be trying to do this.
Sammy Sosa.
Yeah.
They tried to box him into one race and he said, no, I want to look white. No, I want to look strawberry. He just kept it going. He said he's not going to be limited.
I mean, that's the thing. We're all different and we're all going to be individuals. And I think that, you know, everybody wants to label somebody now. And it's like, you don't need to label anybody.
And I'm still learning, and I still know that I have, like, words do have power. So I really try to not, you know, I don't aim to offend, but I'm also from the South, and I feel like we're late to all of this. So like, I grew up in a time where, and I don't mean to offend you or anything, because I'm not trying to, but I grew up at a time where it's like, if something was just weird or something like that, you'd be like, that's gay. So occasionally I still do it, and I have a gay friend that does it, and I just like Kay, her little sister gets mad when I say it, and I have to remember, like, I can't say that no more. I can't say that no more. I can't say this. I can't say that. And I walk on eggshells, but at the same time, it's like, I'm not trying to hurt nobody's feelings. I'm just saying words.
Well, I'm going to say this, though. If you go back to the Flintstones cartoon, in the song, it says, we'll have a gay old time.
They do say that.
Yes. Yes. And gay used to mean happy. It did. Mm-hmm. Back in the 20s and 30s, it meant happy, in 40s. So you'll have a gay old time. You know, okay, let's go to England for a second. You know what they call cigarettes over there?
Fags.
You got it. So words, it's interesting because words, people give words power, and some can be very cruel. But if you start unpacking it, you know, I've talked about this. What deems certain words curse words? Who decided that that is a bad word?
Yeah, because like I have an Australian friend, and the words that she used are words that we're like, yo, you cannot say that. Because we say the C word because I feel like that is a bad word. But they say it like it's damn. Like they just like, that's just every other word for them. And when she talks, I'm like, who's Sailor? You just are a little wild.
I had an English pen pal back in the 80s, and he sent me an audio tape, and he was calling for his cat, and he's like, here puss, here puss, and I'm just like, but we did have a children's book called Puss in Boots, you know, there is but you don't think about that, you really, because that word, add Y, it becomes something totally different. And it's,
you know what, I can never tell if people are being genuine or are they just reaching for a laugh, because I'm always that guy. If my friend's saying, hey, puss, I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? What are you trying to prove right now? Like, I'm the person that I'm trying to call them out, like, don't do it. Stop. All my friend groups are like really weird, where it's like we're all like, my best friend is full on redneck. In fact, my top 5 friends, 3 of them are 3 different levels of redneck. One is country, one is redneck, and one is a hillbilly. They're like, it goes down the list where like they get worse and worse. Like one of them, he might drink moonshine. One straight up drinks moonshine. One makes moonshine.
Wow.
And then I have another black friend, and he is like a HBCU, but also a Carlton kind of black guy. And then I have another black friend that carries a gun, and he will kill you if you start an argument with him. So it's like they're all different mixes, but they will all just say whatever in the friend group, and they're really weird. And then the one that will kill you because he a thug is very openly gay. So it's just like they're all like the weirdest people, but it's like nobody has given restrictions to them or to anybody to say, bro, you can't do this, you can't do that. So like now I feel like I'm comfortable enough with my sexuality. I don't see myself with a guy no time soon, but like my nails are painted. Why not? Just I don't know. Well, I always say I was born in the wrong time.
Well, I was going to say this though, when you're talking about your friend who's the thug, you don't expect the equivalent, if you're looking at the narrow perspective of labels, him to be gay. You just don't, because when you think of a thug, you think of somebody that's just in your face, overly manly. Not that you can't be manly and be gay, but, and you know, I'm going to go back to when I was in high school. Do you know the band Judas Priest?
I know the name.
Okay, they're very hard, heavy metal. They wore leather. They were just, they were really badass. And well, yes, I like Duran, I liked NXS. And I got called out by these guys who really liked Judas Priest, saying that Duran, because they wore makeup, were a bunch of fags. The funny irony here is, let's flash forward to, I think, 2000, and the lead singer of Judas Priest comes out as gay. And I just was like, really? Okay. Because here these guys are giving me crap because I like guys in a band who wear makeup. Oh, well, their music was great. That's why.
I don't see, because I've had like the gayest conversations I've had in my life are all from like dudes who I feel like are very straight. Like, and I don't even feel like it's like in a weird way, like they're trying to hide or anything. I think like any man will tell you Ryan Reynolds is beautiful.
Oh yeah,
To me, Bradley Cooper is the most attractive man on this earth. He's not, matter of fact, I'll take that back. Not any Brad Cooper. Have you seen A Star Is Born?
Yes, I have.
That version of him. He has to have the long hair and the beard. That's the only way I'm gonna give him. That's the only way I'm gonna give him the point. But I feel like I'm not like in a rush to go on a date with a man. If he asks me, I might go, but nothing's gonna happen without me getting paid first. Well, but I'm still very pro women. Like I don't want a man.
Well, here's the thing.
But I can make that same.
There's been women that I've looked at, models back in the 80s, that are like, they're absolutely stunning and beautiful and gorgeous. And I'm envious of them. Would I go on a date with them? No. But you can still admire and think that they're beautiful. And that's where I think you gotta, just because you think somebody's beautiful, you should not be labeled, oh, well, you're deviant. No.
Yeah.
We don't label people deviant so much anymore, but we still look at those labels. And that's what we have to try to get past.
And I really don't think we will, because I feel like it's just too much fear of those little people on the internet. So I feel like everybody has that side to them. They just won't be public about it, which, I mean, I guess it's okay, because, everybody's still writing for Chappelle. Nobody's like, really condemning him. And the people who are condemning him are being condemned because they're the weird ones anyway. Like, I don't know. People just are so for show now. It's not a lot of actual genuine people.
What Andy Warhol said back a long time ago, everybody would be famous for 15 minutes. We certainly have gotten there, because you can be TikTok famous overnight.
Yeah.
And
they let it go straight to their head and think like, we're gonna shut this person down. We're gonna shut this person down. As a Black person, I feel like I can honestly say there's a Black girl on TikTok who's famous because she infiltrated a bunch of like Facebook hate groups where like these people are like not necessarily like, going out making plans like we're finna go do this. They're just saying, yo, hey, we're racist, and sharing memes about them being racist. If you want to be racist, go for it. Like, if you're not hurting nobody, do your thing. I feel like I honestly don't care. I'm pro, do whatever you want, as long as it doesn't intervene with me. I really couldn't care. So when I was teaching, I quit teaching specifically because I was dealing with a lot of racism. But I got out of that situation. Nobody was really hurting me, but they was just aggravating me. So I moved away from the situation. I'm not mad at them. That's how they were raised. That's how they think. I'm not the person that's going to step up and try to change that. I'm not going to make some Lifetime movie and try to change their mindset. I'm just going to move myself from the situation. So I feel like it's so not necessary. Like, everybody wants to cancel somebody and shut somebody's career and life down. It's whatever. Did you see the trans woman at Sonic?
No.
I'm pro-trans. My sister's trans. She's the only person I'll say I don't agree with her being trans. Only reason I don't agree with her being trans because she came out at my birthday party. So it's still like pending for me. That's the only reason I have a problem with it. Other than that, I love her girlfriend. I love everything about her. I just don't agree with that. But this trans lady at Sonic, she goes through the drive-through and she has makeup on, she has a wig on, but her car is still a male's name. Her voice is still a male's voice. So the cashier, some kid, nobody's paying attention. This kid says, "Yes, sir." No harm, no foul. He's not trying to hurt your feelings. It's an honest mistake. Mm-hmm. She starts recording. She throws a big fit and she's fussing at the manager. And you can tell he's not really on point with his English, but he's keeping up with her. He's saying, "What do you want us to do?" He said, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. What do you want us to do?" And she's like, "Well, what are you doing about your sensitivity training? Are you talking to these kids about trans people and their rights and this, that, and this?" It's like, man, shut up, nigga. Just take your food and go home.
I want to say this, okay? Because my voice, especially if I am sick, it drops. And I have answered the phone and I have had, "Are you the man of the house?" Now, I've gone even further when my husband was alive and he didn't want to deal with the cable company. He wanted me to talk to them about making changes. So they're like, "Are you John?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I am." And they ran with it. So I've gotten "Yes, sir," because my voice has that octave. Do I take offense? Sometimes I get a little snippy with them and say I'm a woman, but most of the time it's just like, whatever.
I've honest to God, my whole life been either accused or just people ask me if I'm trans. I've always got that. They always think that I'm a woman transitioning into a man. I have always got that. My Kay, her little sister, all of her friends think I'm trans to the point where now she feeds into it and tell them, "Yeah, he's got the operation, this, that, and this." I have literally always got it. I swear to God, I had a teacher. For some reason, like this was in college, my freshman year of college. We're like halfway through the school year. Well, the semester. It's like October and semester is like August to December. So Octoberish, she asked a bunch of like weird questions about transitioning and all this stuff, what my parents think of me and all this stuff. And I'm like, really, like, what are you getting at? Like, I wasn't understanding this, at that time. Like, I'm just, I'm writing and you start asking me a bunch of questions. I'm lost. And she was like, "Well, you being trans, I have all these questions." I'm like, "What?" That was like my first response. What? Like, no, I'm not. Wow. And she was like, confused. And I'm like, I'm confused too. Like, I'm a boy. And I say that all the time. If I answer the phone, I get that all the time. I have so many stories of people thinking that I'm a girl.
I don't hear that in your voice, though. I don't hear it.
I'm gonna try to drop it about right here.
Well, I can do that right too. Here. We can sit here and do this little thing. I can talk like this too. I mean, I can. The voice can be manipulated, and I think it's if you're really paying attention. Like the kid going back to Sonic. I can't tell you how many times I would say "Yes, sir," not "No, sir," or "Yes, ma'am," "No, ma'am," and not pay attention because I'm doing my job and trying to focus on this. And when you are in a drive-through, because I've worked there, you're in a drive-through, your mind is trying to get the task at hand because you're on a timer. There's a timer ticking down, and you don't want your drive-through backing up.
But it's not even. I feel like it wasn't even a situation where she was just on guard, thinking people are out here trying to hurt her feelings. That I can understand. It's like being a attitude hypochondriac. You think everybody's against you. I don't even think it was that. I really feel like it was just, I'm finna break the internet. I have the newest thing. I'm finna have my 15 seconds of fame. Why? Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
I don't get it.
Well, here's the thing, and let's unpack this a little bit. So she gets her 15 minutes of fame. This kid is now being dressed down. He's going to have people look at him. He's going to have some people most likely attack him. The manager's now going to have this. He may lose his job because of this, the kid or the manager. And you don't know what the ramifications of if he has a family or anything else because she wanted her 15 minutes of fame. And that's the thing. When people do this, when they act out, they don't really consider the other ramifications of other people. It's all about me. Look at me. this is what I'm doing. I saw on Twitter somebody was doing a podcast and they were like, this person is just toxic. She's using other people's drama to build her podcast. And no, it was not me. But they were talking about how she was actually manipulating them and breaking them down on air. And I'm just like, that's cruel. I mean, why would you do that? Why? I mean, when I talk to my guests, we talk about deep subjects and I don't go digging deep to get too personal because you guys have feelings and so do I. If you're comfortable laying it all out, then you lay it all out. And if you're not, then you don't. And that's the way it should be. We shouldn't be just making up crap to post to get likes.
And it's always like I really agree. It's always so much more to it. And I feel like it's not gonna get, it's never a situation where it comes out good for anybody involved. So, everybody turned on the lady that made the video, that posted the video, because she was in the wrong. So it's like, what now? End of the day, even if that video do blow up, you still have to go to work tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. And how many people have lost their jobs over stuff like this?
A ton. My friend, I have, I don't know. It's so many examples to give. People just, I don't get it. I really don't get it.
I'm gonna go back to what John said to you. Life was a lot easier. While I wish I had film of memories, the only film I have of something outlandish that I have ever done was me and my friends went to the mall and my friend and I faked British accents and that we were from England. And we walked around the mall with a big ass video camera and two male friends. And people wanted to be on camera then, asking if it was going to be on TV and whatnot. It was amazing to watch people do this. And why did we do it? For shits and giggles. It was no other reason. We had fun. Faking the British accent. It was dressed totally different. We went to Bossier to do it. So outside of Shreveport. And it was an experiment in a way.
And that's cute. That's fun. It's nothing. You're not hurting nobody. You're just having fun. And when people obviously everybody wants to be on TV and all that kind of stuff. So I get it. But I mean, I feel like it's a line. It's a line that, it's one thing, you being fun, you being cute or whatever, but not when you're damaging other people and stuff. I remember when it was really popular to go in stores and trash the store or jump on stuff. Or even now people make videos where they just bother people in the store just to post and get, a like. And I hate those videos so much. I hate those videos. The videos I hate the most now, the only videos that I feel like I could kill everybody involved in making this video are those stupid Facebook videos where it's she's married to a blind man. He doesn't know she's cheating. And it'll be a woman sitting next to a guy with shades on, but she's holding hands with another guy and she's pretending to flirt. Well, it's so obviously staged.
Yeah.
Or his wife's home and his girlfriend's here. And it's the stupidest 3-minute video. I hate those videos so much.
And that's the thing. It's content and people are looking for content. They don't care the quality of the content. They just want content. And
a really good movie I feel like you should watch. It's a movie called Spree.
Okay.
It's called Spree on Hulu. It's the guy from Stranger Things. It's about this guy. He wants to blow up on some kind of app. So he starts going around doing crazy stuff to get views on his live. And you can see it's a great movie, but you can see the disgusting levels people will go to for attention.
There's a movie, and this is back in the 90s. I doubt you saw it. You may have. Natural Born Killers.
Woody Harrelson.
Yeah, okay. So Natural Born Killers, I went on a date to. And we were midway into the movie and I wanted to leave. And so did the guy, but the guy didn't say it either. And I'm going to explain why I wanted to leave. It disturbed me. And you know why it disturbed me? And this is before we had all the technology we had. Okay, so we didn't have really cell phones. Because at the time when I watched it, I after we left, he's like, well, why did it bother you? I said, because I could see that happening one day. I could see people applauding and following these people across the country on their murder spree. I could see it. And in a way, we kind of had that with this guy in Florida who killed his girlfriend. I mean, how much of an uproar was that? And then they found his body and he's apparently shot himself.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know what I'm getting at? So that blew up that. Everybody's like, where is he? We got to find him. So in a way, that's why Natural Born Killers disturbed me, was because I could see the future of that being a reality. And we kind of have had that. We have a police, we have a verdict in, you know, Kyle Rittenhouse's trial. We have the verdict in the case in Georgia. And I mean, it's just the case in Georgia. I'm glad they got the verdict that they did, because they should not have done that. The guy had no business dying. They were straight up rednecks and they were looking to kill somebody. But the fact of the matter is, Kyle Rittenhouse, in my opinion, deserves to go to jail too. But that's my opinion, and people can mad about it.
You know what? This is another thing me and Kay disagree on, because I got somebody exposed me. I got dragged out of the closet of being a Republican. So I'm not the awful kind of Republican. I'm not. I promise I'm not. Okay. But we disagree on, like, I'm 100% for the first one. Where was it?
Kyle Rittenhouse in Wisconsin?
No, the other one you first
Georgia,
said.
I think it was.
The Georgia. Okay. So I'm all for it. That was awful. They went hunting for that. They saw a situation, they saw an opportunity and they took it. Kyle Rittenhouse, I feel like everybody was like, he needs to go to jail for the rest of his life, this, that, and this. I'm partial. And I'm only partial on a technicality. I feel like he needs to go to jail, but I don't feel like he needs to go for the rest of his life, because part of it was self-defense. I will say that. But the fact that he like went across state lines with a gun, he was looking for something and they fed into it and they gave it to him.
Not only that,
and I also feel like he's a stupid little racist kid. I ain't gonna say he's racist. I think he's a stupid kid that probably has more to it than the people are gonna look into. So I think he needs to get like a good 9 to 10 year sentence.
Well, let's back this up for a second. One person that has not been prosecuted, and she should be prosecuted, is his mother.
His mom.
His mom took him across state lines with a gun, a minor with a gun, and she didn't take him across state lines to bake a cake. She put him in that situation. She should have some culpability.
People never look at the parents, and the parents are always 100% involved. If we're gonna go there, we're gonna go there. R. Kelly and Michael Jackson. Oh my God. Yes, these people did awful stuff. Yes, they got what they deserve, but the parents were involved too. Mm-hmm. The parents didn't get money. That's the only reason they came out. They came forward.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna let. R. Kelly had a tape out of him peeing on a young girl. I'm not gonna, after that, even before that, I'm not gonna take my 15-year-old daughter to this man's house when that's a very famous thing. People were still doing that up until like a few years ago. Oh, I'm gonna take my 13-year-old daughter to meet R. Kelly because he's gonna make her famous. What you think he gonna do to make her famous? Do you think he actually gonna do anything other than what you know he's gonna do? So it's like the parents need something too.
But I want to, and this goes back to somebody I talked to who actually has a charity in South Africa, because fathers are still selling their daughters for cows in certain cases, because that's how girls don't have value over there. So we're going to sell her for a cow or something else so we can provide to our family. So she has a charity where she supports people and gets the girl into school so she can actually grow and not be chattel. I mean,
what is the world, man? The parents they don't have no repercussions. It's always just the money. I don't know, man. Life's weird.
But that's the thing. I mean, even when you think about the big picture, you start unpacking your own baggage and you realize, well, gee, what did my parents actually do to me? And I'm not saying we blame our parents, because we become our own. After a certain point, we have to own ourselves. But a lot of our own crap we learn from our parents and the other people.
Oh yeah, I was just having to talk with my sister, because I was telling my sister, I was telling my sister the opposite of what you just said. I said, yo, I think it's time we start blaming our parents for the way we are, how we are. That way we have an opt out.
You know why? You know why? You're at that age. You're at that age where, yeah, you hit your 30s, your 20s and your 30s, and you're like, okay, I'm going to start looking at my parents. My parents are the ones that messed me up. So you hit about 50, you're like, all right, let's think about this. And I want you to think about this yourself. So you look at your parents, and you gotta take another step back and go, you know, your grandparents, if you got lucky enough to know your grandparents, they're not the same people they were to you that they were to their kids. Just keep that in mind. Because my grandmother, my dad's mom, I knew her as well, she could be quite the pistol and she liked to play people and manipulate people, but overall, she was a good grandma. Everybody thought Mama was a wonderful lady. I lived with her and that changed my opinion. However, when she moves up here to live with us, she's telling my husband how she used to drink men under the table. She would take some casserole, drink men under the table, and, you know, have a good old time being drunk. And I'm like, this. And then I look at my dad who drinks and I'm like, oh, okay. So I see. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, can I just look at my dad? Just take him for face value. It's like, well, wait, where did his damage come from? It's generational.
Well, when I talk to my sister, I feel like I talk to her, and what I can say is a more mature light, because my sister, everybody is always like, as long as I've known her and everybody around her has said anything about her, they always say that she's mean and she has an attitude. And knowing her, I know she doesn't mean anything by it. She's just snappy, and that's just how she is. So her and my mom, they've had falling outs, and I was telling her, you have to understand it. Like, okay, so her having an attitude, her being mean, my mom is kind of like that, but she, you know, she's kind of nice with it too. But my mom is just like this. I'm like, that's what you got it from. And then my grandmother was really rude, really mean, really bad to my mom. So seeing all that, that's two generations of, you know, mean women ahead of you. So it's like, that's in you. But also, where her and my mom have a big problem is my sister is one of those touchy-feely, she's emotional. My mom is not. My mom is a solid rock person. She's one of those, you're not going to catch her crying or anything like that. My mom's a thug. So they have this big difference in my sister. Her love language is telling you, her, you know, giving you a hug and stuff like that. I can count on my hand how many times my mom has verbalized that she loves me. It's more of a, if I'm hungry, she's gonna buy my food. She's gonna buy these clothes and stuff like that. So I'm like, you gotta meet her in the middle and understand the way she says she loves you.
It's something that my mom used to say about my dad after they split, because I would say to you, I'm not sure Dad loves me, and she would be like, your dad loves you in his own way.
Exactly.
And I'm like, what the hell does that even mean?
Exactly. So my mom, she loves us in the things that she do. So she spoils all of us, and they look at it as like, you know, she's just shutting them up with money and this, that, and this. No, that's just the way she knows, because her mom didn't talk to her. She didn't really, that's like the way she knows to show love. So when I was talking to her, my sister's one of those, she likes to casually brag too. She do this, I think she does this with me, just like picking at me, because so me and my brother have we have the same dad. My sister has a different dad from my mom's first relationship. So my dad is close with my brother. We talked about this. He's close to my brother. He talks to my mom all the time. But me and him haven't talked in years. And he doesn't look at it as like any bad blood. I don't look at it any bad blood. We just don't talk. So she likes to point up like, well, my dad is this and this, that, and this. And I'm like, well, you know what? Lucky for you, like, good for you. Some of us don't have fathers. So she talks like she's emotional because her dad was you know, I'm going to kiss you on the forehead and tell you good night and stuff like that. So I was like, you got to meet everybody here in the middle and understand not all of us was raised to love that way.
Well,
you know,
I think that's an important thing for all of us to learn as a society, that we are all different and we're all going to have different viewpoints. And we all don't look alike, and we all don't sound alike, and we all have different skin colors. And I think that's the biggest thing, is that it goes back to what we talked about earlier. It's like we put everybody in a freaking box, And therefore we can't get along because I'm not supposed to talk to you. I'm not supposed to have a relationship with you. I'm not supposed to believe this. Who said? Who said? That's all I ask. Who said that there were these parameters that we can't talk and that you can't be allowed to do this? I mean, I can't tell you how many stupid Twitter things or Facebook things where I see that says, oh, if you're over 40 or over 50, you can't wear this. Who are you to tell me what the heck I'm going to wear? You know, personally, I would not wear a halter top, but I mean, if I want to wear a halter top and that's how I'm comfortable, then why are you going to tell me what I can't do?
I think, like I said, I think people just project their hate for the fact that they feel like they can't onto people who are, you know, honest with themselves, that they think that they can. Like I told you, I have a friend, he's gay. Her friend's boyfriend doesn't like him. He doesn't like gay people and all kind of stuff. But every time I talk to him, in my mind, I'm like, man, just come out. Because everything he says is like he's just overcompensating with everything in him. I'm like, bro, just come out. Just come out. And he doesn't like, you know, certain topics and talking about stuff and different things. And in my mind, it's always because I know you want to. Don't hate because you can't. Like, it's okay. So every time, you know, it's like an argument or something like that, he's one of those, I would have did this. I would have beat his butt and this, that, and I would have did all this. And I'm like, you don't have to lie to me, man. Don't overcompensate, man. Just be gay. Like, I wanted to, if I could say anything to him, like, that'd be my last words. Like, just be gay, man.
He would not be pleased. He would not be pleased.
He would not. I feel like if the way I imagine it happening and it goes well, it'd be like that scene from Fresh Prince when his dad left and he was like, why don't he want me? I'll be like, just come out, man. And he'll try to fight it like, nah, man. I'm like, it's okay. Just be gay. You know that scene? It's not your fault. Mm-hmm. And he'll break down crying. And it'll be that scene right there.
So I have to ask you, we got off your record and I really did want to ask you some questions about your record. So you had a couple other collaborations on there. What kind of transpired to get those started?
Julia Blue, she was on my Explore page. She had a cover of a song by Doja Cat. And the way she layered her voice, her singing, it was just great. It was like, it's like I heard the cover and immediately went to her inbox like, hey, I have this song. I want you on it. Bad was originally, there's this group, Matt and Kim, and I've loved them my entire life. So like when they like randomly just like followed me one day and I have it framed. Like I have a framed picture of the screenshot of like, they liked the picture and followed me. And I have that screenshot and it's like clip art with the message, hey, we love Danger. Would you want to collab with us? Like I have those three things in one picture framed. And I was like, yeah. So like they sent me a bunch of songs. I sent them a bunch of songs. And honestly, like we just never got around to finishing it. Everything they sent me, I couldn't get all the way perfect. Everything, like it was just vice versa. We never finished. But I made Bad for them because hearing the rest of the album, you can tell Bad is not my vibe. Like I was forcing myself to be upbeat and more fun, even though the lyrics are kind of more like draining, like kind of low, like the energy was really, full. So when that didn't, come together with them, I gave it to Julia and she did a great job and I loved her on it. Again has Spose, who was another artist just like Matt and Kim. When he followed me, like I remember same thing happened with Matt and Kim. I literally cried. Like I teared up because I discovered Spose when I was in the 6th grade. So now to say like I have a song with him, I hate to say it, but like I feel like again to me means more than D&D did. Because like D&D with John is like, it's a huge thing. He's a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and I love him to death. But again was just like I grew up on Spose. Like Spose is my guy.
This is your, I mean, not to discredit John, but this is an idol of yours. I mean,
he really is.
I get that.
Totally so do. When I made Again, I made it. I have a song, an older song called The Gray. I sent him that, and I really just kamikaze the conversation. Like he was talking music lingo and stuff like that, and I didn't know what he was talking about. So when he was asking me questions, I didn't know how to properly answer it. So if that feature fell apart. So when I kind of felt like I was on my game a little bit more, I sent him Cedar Falls and I sent him Again. And I just sent it to him, just say like I didn't say anything. Well, I said these two have open verses. If you want on, let me know. And he didn't say nothing. And then like 2 weeks later, he just randomly sent me the verse. And I remember like being in Walmart, like and like I didn't have any headphones, and I was just like, what do I do? What do I do? So I'm like listening to it like this, trying to run to my car so I can actually listen to it. And it was just like the best thing ever. And I didn't think he was gonna say yes to it. So I sent the song out to other people. And when I sent it out to other people, nobody confirmed, hey, I'm gonna be on it. So they just kept sending in stuff. So then I got, Jacqueline on it, and she's great. Like her part at the end is just beautiful. So like I was gonna tell her and I was gonna tell both of them, hey, I got exposed, I'm good. But I couldn't break them away. So I had to keep her on. Fortunately, she didn't fully record her verse yet. She was just in the writing stages. She was getting it together. And I got to her ahead of time, like, hey, let's just do background vocals and we'll do something else later because it's already a long song. So that's how that one did. And same with kind of it's a girl on it, Chels Danielle. She's really good. She's somebody that I was just scrolling and I heard her doing covers and she was just really talented. And I saw her, she did I have a song, How About Now? And she did a song that sounded really similar to it. And I was like, that's kind of the vibe I'm going for on War. Let's see like if we can get something together on it. And she was like practicing, like what she would sound like on the song. So she sung the hook. And originally I was gonna have her just do the hook, but it just kind of fell in place really well. So like, I don't know, I really got lucky with the features on that one. I really didn't expect anything like that.
Out of all the songs that you have on the album, what's your favorite?
Probably Once Upon a Time, because that song I feel like is really that's like D&D, Broken People, all the songs that I feel like really touch an emotional place. I feel like Once Upon a Time really hit. Like you can kind of tell I was crying in that song. Like I really was just like in a rough spot making it. It wasn't like a rough spot, and that's what I love about it the most. Usually I'm in a mix where it's like I'm making a song where I'm getting over somebody and it's like well, I'm not over somebody and I want you back, or a song where it's like I'm trying to get you back. Once Upon a Time is like my only song where I really had accepted it. And the fact that I had accepted, like, yo, we're not together anymore, it really hurt because any relationship, any friendship that I've had in my entire life, we're together every single day. So when you're with somebody every day and then one day they're not, it's a big curve and it hurt. Even when you're, at peace with it, it still hurts. Like that was one of my thoughts. Every day to this day, I still think about her because that was my everyday. And even though we're done, like I wish you well and everything, and I've moved on, but once upon a time it was different. So I really like that song the most just because that's really where I was at, and it's really where I'm at now still, where it's like I still have these memories that I'm fond of, but we're not there no more.
I know what you mean. I mean, my hubby was here all the time, and it's going on a year and a half, and there are days where it's like, wow, yeah, it still hits me. It still hits.
I did a whole video for it and everything, but like it was too sad, and I feel like you can really relate to it. The video has like a bunch of scenes. Like the whole video was shot where it's us, and like I say all the time I don't have friends because I'm constantly working on stuff, so I'm by myself all the time. So it was where I was at when we were together versus where I'm at now. So the video was shot where it's like I didn't move at all. Like, so once it was a girl that kind of looked like her and a few of my friends, and we're all talking and stuff like that. And we shot the whole song like that, of us talking and stuff, me singing the song. And then we shot the whole thing over again, me basically doing the exact same thing, but I'm singing the song. So it's like, it'll be a flash of like all of us together, or a flash of just me and her together. And then it'll just be just me. And that's really, the look of it. And it's a thing where it's like, that's life, and it's a beauty to it, even with the pain of it. But it's still hurt. Like, even though I feel like we had a solid relationship. It was a great relationship. She's a great person. But the fact that we're not together no more is for the best. We're in way better places. But like, like it's still hurt.
Oh yeah. Well, and here's the thing though, that hurt though caused you to grow. And that's the one thing you have to look at. You have to look at the positive. It's like, well, even though it's painful, you still grew from it.
That's what that whole album was about, really. Me saying that, because honestly, if I had stayed with her, I probably would have been the same, excuse the bad language, the same shitty person that I was. I wouldn't have never grown to kind of, get my shit together. So yeah, like you're right. It really took a lot of growth. I had to lose it to grow.
Sometimes that's exactly what you need.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. So I guess I've taken up enough of your time now, and I do appreciate the conversation as always.
Yeah, thanks for letting me do a bunch of little mini rants on here.
That's okay. I'll catch you next time.
All right, until next time.
When CerVon and I sit down and talk, we always have a decent conversation, and I enjoy talking to him a lot. His music, I would definitely give it a listen to. It's a range on his album of different styles and different beats, and I think that it definitely has a lot of different merit to it. So I advise you to go have a listen. It's on Spotify and available on other links as well. He usually posts it on his Instagram stories. He has a TikTok account as well. And we talked about TikTok a little bit offline. But online, we did talk about social media. And social media has changed the game in a lot of different ways. We're not only musicians and actors and authors, but for just the normal person, and everybody is chasing likes. And sometimes those likes, we need to start unpacking the bigger picture. If you're doing something and it may not be in the norm and it may end up involving other people, what are the ramifications? Are you actually hurting somebody else while you're trying to make a name for yourself? Are you hurting someone else? And is that fair to them? So we really need to try to unpack all that and reel that back in. I hope that you enjoy the show as always. If you want to follow the podcast, we do have a site called better2podcast.com. And all the social media links are there. You can follow us there. If you want to be a guest on the show or you have a question, you can send me an email at Donna@better2podcast.com. That's DAUNA at better2podcast.com. And as always, I appreciate your support. We have a Patreon account on our website. So if you want to subscribe, please do so. And once again, I appreciate your support and I hope you enjoy the show. And I'll catch you next time. Bye. You are listening to the Better 2 podcast with M.Needom.